Thank you guys for showing up. Much appreciation to you. I just want to bring on the first entrepreneur. His name is Kevin Harrington. He is one of the original sharks at Shark Tank. He is also vital in the entrepreneurship field. He has produced 500 products and also in revenue, which created 50 billion sales and in global sales, and also have wrote the books Act Now and Put a Shark in Your Tank. So come on, let us welcome Kevin Harrington. Hey, Kevin, you have a room full of Maharishi students of University of Management. We want to welcome you.
Hey, how you doing?
Great, how are you?
I'm doing fantastic.
Meet Kevin Harrington.
With over 500 products launched and generating over $5 billion in product sales in over 100 countries, Kevin Harrington is the inventor of the Infomercial, as seen on TV pioneer, and original shark on the Emmy Award-winning TV show Shark Tank. Kevin creates massive brands by combining great products with superstar talent like Kim Kardashian, 50 Cent, Kathy and Paris Hilton, Kris Jenner, CeeLo Green, George Foreman, Montel Williams, Jack LaLanne, Flo Rida, Hulk Hogan, Billy Mays, Paula Abdul, and Tony Little.
My brand now is worth over $3 billion. So my advice to everybody, if you even have an idea, you'd want to go to Kevin Harrington.
Kevin has been featured on 2020, CNN, Fox Business, Bloomberg, Jim Cramer's The Street, MTV, Good Morning America, the CBS Morning News, The Today Show, The View, and The Daily Double on Jeopardy.
Now the last clue, back to the Shark Tank. I'm Kevin Harrington.
A renowned speaker, Kevin has appeared on stage for organizations like AT&T, Microsoft, and MIT.
Kevin is a pioneer of the direct response industry and has risen to nearly iconic status over the years.
Kevin helped to found EO, the Entrepreneurs Organization. An entrepreneur for over 40 years, Kevin has built 20 businesses to over $100 million each. That's why he's the original shark from Shark Tank, the billion-dollar man, Kevin Harrington. Let's give Kevin a warm welcome.
Okay, thank you. I really appreciate that. The reason I wanted to share that, it's all the good stuff, right? I say my mother wrote the script to that video because it only talks about the good stuff. I'm going to talk a little bit about entrepreneurship and some of the challenges that I ran into and we run into as entrepreneurs. And I know there's very many non-entrepreneurs in the audience today, but let me go back. I just want to go back to the very beginning and then kind of some of the changes that have been happening over the years from the video forward. And the quick story of how all of this started. I was a young entrepreneur back in the early 80s. I had just ordered cable TV, and I was amazing to get a 30-channel package, cable TV, 24 hours of news on CNN and 24 hours of movies on HBO, 24 hours of sports on ESPN. I got to the Discovery Channel and there was colored bars on the screen. And so I called the cable company and I said, I'm not getting anything on this Discovery Channel. And they said, oh, Discovery's only an 18-hour-a-day network. 6 hours is nothing, okay? So that's when the light bulb went off and I said, well, let me start giving them some programs that include product sales so that we could now start giving them a percentage of those sales. So that was really the breakthrough moment. The aha moment for me was the early 80s, seeing 6 hours a day of nothing being programmed on Discovery. I started giving them products from Tony Little fitness products and Jack LaLanne and the kitchen products, the Food Saver, et cetera. But so now I want to fast forward more towards today. TV viewership has dropped. There's been a 50% decline in television viewership. So I own As Seen in TV Inc., AsSeenInTV.com. But when people watch TV, what do? A lot of times they're not going to the website associated with the TV spot. They're going to Amazon or they're going to some other place. They go to the internet, right? And they're not watching TV because they're on Facebook, they're on Instagram, there are other places. So I've had to change my whole model since, the video's all great about all the good stuff, but along the way, things started happening. They weren't working as well because viewers had declined. We had to get into digital. So we now are a really robust digital company. We use Facebook, we use Instagram, we use YouTube, we use Pinterest. We're building funnels. And this is, again, I'm getting a little complicated, maybe a little educational here, but the bottom line is that while TV is still a medium out there for us, we're really doing 70+% of our business is done in a digital way. But this is because Facebook has 2.5 billion customers and the ability to target those customers via 1,800 different demographic points. We can target by age, by relationship, by profession, doctors, lawyers, chiropractors, etc. So when we launch products today, we can build specific funnels built directly to a specific market, a target market, and we don't have to worry about the high cost of television. So this is kind of a little bit of a change for us from the beginning. Early 80s, yeah, we built lots of businesses in the 80s, lots of businesses in the 90s. When the 2000s came about, the internet was changing things, Facebook was changing things, the algorithms were giving us the ability to do some very targeted marketing, and I feel that it's important that I have a chance, to really give sort of some tips on how I launch products today. It's different. We used to shoot these 30-minute infomercials. We still do a few of those, but we're shooting viral videos that are geared towards sending people to a landing page, which is a specific funnel for the opportunity. We're utilizing tripwires and sophisticated things like retargeting and auto customer CRM systems that are customer response systems that can generate automated emails and retargeting. So it gets a little bit complicated here. I don't want to go too far over anybody's heads if you haven't done this kind of stuff, but this is the wave of the future. And it's no longer just, hey, we're not just a TV marketing company anymore. We're a digital marketing company. We utilize television, we utilize Facebook, we utilize YouTube, we utilize Instagram and social media followers, social media influencers, and the marketplace has become a little bit more sophisticated. So I just believe that those that are out there that are launching products, businesses, even services, I invest in service businesses, product businesses, people with great ideas, patents, etc. So it doesn't have to just be some kind of a rock solid product that we get involved with. Sometimes it's a software or a service. So because we have the ability to utilize the social media aspects, the Facebooks and Instagrams of the world to create some amazing relationships with customers. So I just wanted to spend a few minutes talking about that. And I don't know if we're opening up for questions or whatever the next step is here, but I just wanted to make sure that everyone understood this was never just, hey, everything's going to be successful. We fail a lot more than we succeed. And I think this is maybe a pretty good point to make sure that everyone understands. Not every deal is going to work. Not every project is going to be successful. And I've cut my teeth on testing and tweaking and trying to get there. If for some reason it doesn't work, we try a second time, a third time, but then eventually if it's not working, we need to move on to the next, because I think there's a famous gentleman named Winston Churchill that probably said it best. He said, that success is being able to go from failure to failure without the loss of enthusiasm, okay? So, it's hard to think, hey, how do you get enthused by failing? But I know that that's part of life, that's part of business. Not everything's going to be successful. Take the failures, get them out of the way, focus on the winners, and build those businesses and keep trekking and keep moving until you get that winner. So I'm excited for all you folks there at the university today to have a chance to spend some time with some amazing people. Cliff Rose, I've known for many years. He's a dynamo. He's assembled a team of some pretty powerful folks. I mean, Joe Sugarman, one of my idols for many, many years. Joe is one of the greatest copywriters and marketers out in the marketplace and created just an amazing sunglass line, the Blue Blockers, and tens of millions of pairs sold. There is an amazing story that Joe Sugarman hopefully will, if he hasn't shared it, will be sharing with you. I go back to the early days of following Joe in his footsteps, and just want to say that thank you, Cliff, for having me today and assembling an amazing team of people there. And I don't know what the next step is here, but I just wanted to share a few of my insights and maybe open it up a few questions here today.
Kevin, we'd love to ask a few questions of you. You're one of the three entrepreneurs speaking today. You're the business entrepreneur. We have a social entrepreneur and an artist entrepreneur. So maybe, how about, I'm going to ask the first question, and Bree here has a question. If you could distill the essence of your, 30 years, almost 40 years of entrepreneurship, what's the key essence that you'd like to impart to our audience here today? The essence of what you learned. I know that's a big statement, but if you could give the essence?
No, I think that's a very great question. So early on, when I was building my business, I thought I was invincible. I was the CEO. I was the owner of the company, the entrepreneur that started it. But I was good at sales and good at creating messages and selling messages in our infomercials. But I needed millions of dollars to finance all of this, right? And so I didn't have a team around me. I had myself and basically a couple of helpers to help me build the business, but I didn't have strong finance people. I didn't have strong operations people, and we were making a lot of mistakes. And we also needed capital. So I went to 5 banks, tried to raise money. I was unsuccessful. Turned down. Now, meanwhile, when I was doing this, I was actually at a $50 million company making over $5 million a year, but we didn't have any capital because the money was going out so quickly for media, for inventory, that I needed some working capital, a line of credit, something to help me build the business beyond that. So finally, one day, I met a guy at an event. I was at a big networking event at a Chamber of Commerce, and I'm talking to a guy, and he's retired as been a former bank president. And I was telling him the challenges I was having raising money. And he said, Kevin, I says, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to come in your office, and I'm going to give you some free advice next week. And I'm going to tell you how you can go get financing because you got an amazing business. And after that, there's no charge. But if I am interested, I may give you a proposal on how we may be able to work together going forward. If I'm not interested, then I'm just going to help you and give you some free advice. He came in, we sat down, he said, so when you talk to these 5 banks, what did you tell them? And I said, well, I told them how very successful our business has been and all the products that we've launched. And here's our company. We did 50 million with a $5 million profit. And he said, well, great. He said, but guess what? That's the past. They want to know about the future. They want to know, where are you going? They're going to loan you money. How do they know you're going to pay them back? What is your plan? What's your 5-year plan, your 3-year plan, your 1-year plan? What are you going to do with the money? What is your use of proceeds? He said, I can put all that together with you and the small team that you've got here. We're going to go back to a couple of the same banks because I know some of those guys at the banks that turned you down, and let's see what we can do. And little did we know, this gentleman came in, his name was Pete Albert, turned us around, went back, took us about 60 days to put together a new presentation. We went back and got a $3 million line of credit from one of those banks that had turned us down. It was all in the pitch. It was creating a perfect pitch to a banker. And so this is actually modern day times now. What do? As a shark, I take pitches from people that want what? Money, okay? So I learned how to pitch to bankers years ago. I've raised hundreds of millions of dollars now. That's how I built billion-dollar companies. So 20 of the companies have gone to over $100 million each. But we know how to raise capital because it's all in pitching to the investor, the banker, et cetera. And that's what I say. You got to surround yourself with an unbelievable dream team. You need bankers, you need digital marketers, you need some influencers, you need finance people, you need operations people. Don't think you're too good. Don't think you know it all. I don't think I know it all. I spend $250,000 a year hiring coaches to teach me how to do things better in my day-to-day business life, whether it's speaking, whether it's multiplying, whether it's motivating, whether it's raising capital. Get the right dream team, surround yourself, and you're going to be having a lot bigger chance to be amazingly successful.
Thank you. Do you have time for one more question?
I do. One more.
How do you keep up your enthusiasm once you keep failing? What is the one thing within your essence that keeps you going, that have given you this drive all these years? What is that one thing?
Well, I'll tell you what it is now, and in my earlier years, it was different. I spent the first 30 years trying to figure out what I wanted to do because I didn't discover infomercials till I was 28 years old. So the end of that first 30-year run, when I went to Discovery and got that airtime and kicked off the infomercial space. Then I spent the next 30 years doing billions of dollars in sales. And that was a lot of fun, chasing products, chasing the dream, building businesses, and having some fun and success. And now my last 30 years, because I'm over 60 years old now, and I'm looking to make my next 30 years the funnest part of my life, because I now want to empower entrepreneurs to be the greatest that they can be. I want to take folks that are like the ones sitting in your audience right now that have a dream, that have an idea, and I want to work with them. I want to mentor. I want to coach. I want to be there. I want to be an advisor. And this is my next 30 years, is to empower entrepreneurs to be the greatest that they can be. And I get a lot out of that. That's what I'm doing right here in St. Pete, Florida. Right now, I'm at the Hyatt Hotel in downtown St. Pete. We got a room full of people I took a break from. And what are we doing? We're taking pitches. We're empowering. We're motivating, and we're steering in the right direction, partnering with amazing entrepreneurs. And maybe someday I can come back. I've been to Fairfield, Iowa, by the way. I love that town and love to come back sometime. So maybe in a future year, Cliff can get me down there and we can have some fun and meet some people face to face. But I want to thank everybody for being part of the program today, listening to me. And I'm going to finish with a statement that I've lived my life by. And this goes way back to the early days as an entrepreneur. And this is Paul J. Myers had a quote that I've lived my life by. And it goes like this: whatever you vividly imagine, ardently desire, sincerely believe, and enthusiastically act upon must inevitably come to pass. And I believe that if you imagine it, you desire it,